Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Somos Moss. My name, of course, is Seth Bedoff. Joining me this evening on another World Cup edition of the show, we got Jacob Turrell, and then surprisingly, here Earl Nieto. Guys, I mean,
that's me.
That is you. And I gotta say, Earl, I listened to the show you did last night, and you did a great job. Thank you for stepping up and doing that. Yeah, I mean, you did perfectly fine. You had sounds like you had Robert in the chat, and maybe Harry too. I don't know if Harry was there or not.
No, Harry wasn't there, but I'd give him a shout out anyways.
Okay.
After multiple Joker memes sent to us and some, hey, is it my night? Yeah. Oh shit. Okay. Earl came through in the clutch.
He sure did. And Earl mentioned that Jacob and I had some other things to take care of. Jacob, congratulations! Happy anniversary to you and your wife. You guys are celebrating last night. Hopefully, you guys had a fun evening together with 3.5 kids.
We celebrated by putting the kids to bed and watching Yellowstone. So
there you go. Hey, man, when you're married with kids, like you do what you got to do, right?
Yeah, when you're married, you do what you got to do too.
We went to Amarillo Saturday night, which was supposed to be our getaway, but we had to take the kids with us because we lost our babysitter. But it was still fun. So
speaking of, you
hold on. Did he sidetrack to Muleshoe?
No, that's nowhere near Amarillo.
Yeah, you're dead to me then.
You were fucking in Lubbock, Earl, and it was in Lubbock. I don't want to hear it.
Bro,
I don't want to hear it.
I have a text.
No,
of us planning a trip to fucking Muleshoe. Of all fucking places, there's like 8 people. There's like 8 fucking people that live there.
That's where the website said it was. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, it wasn't. And
well, yeah, because you waited 3 months to go look for it.
You can also ask Peter. This liquor store that we went to was a fucking drive-through, like a garage that you drive into, and then the lady comes out. How can I help you? And I'm asking about this Ego sipping nog, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't know what that is."
So those sound like you problems and not me problems. I don't understand how this is my fault.
Carry on. No one cares.
Seth, go ahead.
So as I was saying, you mentioned that it was your anniversary. You guys went out of town over the weekend. You asked Earl and myself if one of us could watch your kids for the weekend.
I was that desperate.
Don't get me wrong. I'm sure that I have kids. Earl is still a kid. He's barely legal. I
thought Earl could relate to them on a maturity level.
Potentially, yes.
Which is why I could not do it.
I would have happily volunteered, but my place is not big enough for me plus 5 kids.
Oh no, you were gonna have to come here.
Oh, I was have to bring my kids.
Yeah,
there.
You were gonna have to come here. That was
that
was the only way that was gonna work.
So for those of you who are new to this show, Jacob,
if you're new, God bless you.
Yeah, Jacob lives in the middle of nowhere. Like the middle of nowhere at least has a name.
I don't live that far from you, Earl.
You live 2 fucking hours away, bro.
Yeah, that's not that far.
2.5 actually. I just drove.
No, it's 2.
It's 2.5 if you drive Peter speed.
Well, I don't know what Peter is,
shots fired at Peter. So
just kidding, Peter. If you're listening, which I know you're not because you hate me. I love you.
I love you, Peter.
Yeah, we do too. So, but yeah, so congratulations on that. Glad you guys enjoyed your anniversary. I was out refereeing last night, which was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun doing that last night. So yeah, Earl, thank you for holding me on the fort. You did a great job on the show last night. Appreciate you hopping on and doing that for us. And guys,
appreciate you doing your job, Earl.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're in. The U.S. Let's just bury the lead. The U.S. is moving on to the knockout stages after a interesting 1-0 win over Iran today. Because I don't want to get us, yelled at by an Iranian reporter. that was an interesting. If you haven't seen the video of Tyler Adams answering this reporter's questions, go watch it. Great answer by him. Fantastically done.
I think this is my cue that says "fuck Iran."
I literally just said that. So yeah. Your
cue was my cue.
Your cue was 10 seconds ago.
I'm the one that shot missiles the other day. So
you got shot at
that too, but they missed.
So I mean, let's just get rid of. I mean, this for us is the biggest news of the day. This was a match we've talked about it. We looked at it every different way coming into this. U.S. We knew the team had to win in order to advance. And Greg Berhalter's lineup today came out, and they were explosive, they were dynamic, they were attacking, and they looked extremely good in the first half. And Christian Pulisic and Serginho Dest hooked up in the 38th minute. Pulisic takes the headed cross in from Dest and puts the U.S. up 1-0 there in the first half, and suffers what we now know is a pelvic contusion. And I mean, your reaction to the U.S. finally getting a goal from the run of play here, a second goal from the run of play, and taking a lead in a match that they knew they had to win.
Yeah, I mean, you said it yourself. That first half, we looked incredible, dominant. Looked like we belonged in the knockout round for sure. And then we get the lead, and I'm trying to remember where I was because I had to go to Portales again today, and I'm relatively sure I was driving on the road when I heard it go in and heard the the Spanish speaking broadcast because that's all I could get on my phone
He's
at the
fantastic.
time. And I'm pretty sure he yelled goal for about 3 miles.
Yeah.
And then I pulled over and watched it closely and was just blown away. It was beautiful, beautiful crossover to Dest, and then Dest with the perfect headed cross to Pulisic, and Christian paid the price, but he got the goal, which was somehow enough to get us through.
Earl, did you manage to save your job after screaming bloody murder in the office today?
Actually, yes, I did.
Okay.
I did. I was literally the only person watching this said match on this said TV in said office.
It sounds like you need to educate your employees on soccer etiquette.
Yeah. I'm actually picking up shit from it right now because the match is being played in the office.
Oh, well then.
Why are there TVs in the office then?
Next in line, number 47.
Oh, okay.
That's my guess. I don't know. I've never been in there, so. Well, I mean, so I mean, Earl. I mean, obviously, you and I, we're able to, sit in an office and watch or listen or whatever the case may be. What was your reaction to that? I mean, did it feel like the U.S. was truly dominant in that first half? Did you feel like Iran was making any sort of inroads there?
Yeah, so definitely U.S. looked like they wanted to be there, looked like they deserved to be there, and yeah. So as soon as the match started, I mean, U.S. was pressuring Iran, definitely not letting them get any kind of momentum. And the moments that Iran did get the momentum, the U.S. just stopped them right away. I mean, there was last Friday against England, I was actually very against Robinson. I kept my opinion to myself. I didn't think he played that great. He definitely turned it around today and definitely played really good the first half.
Yeah, Jedi played fantastic, and you could see, particularly in the run up to that goal, you could see him, and we'll talk about it again. Tyler Adams, fucking phenomenal, another fantastic showing for him, and you could see in that run up to the goal how Tyler made that run over towards the left side of the pitch, and Jedi made that run down the left wing, and just the play back and forth, pulling the Iranian defenders completely out of position to open up the space over on the right hand side to cross the ball over to Dest. And I mean, that header, but yeah, I mean, Jedi had a great day. Tyler Adams had a great day. Like, we've talked. The U.S. looked phenomenal. I want to say this is the best 45 minutes we've seen out of them so far in the World Cup. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it was definitely really good. And so with that, I do need to make a disclaimer and an apology. Because when I first hopped on with you, Seth, and I was talking about the nuclear powers of 3 said countries playing, or that were playing at the time in the World Cup, I did also Qatar's not.
Qatar and Iran are actually both done. Never mind. Saudi Arabia's still playing.
Yeah. So once again, Earl's right. I need to hear Jacob say that.
I'll never say it.
I know, even though you're fucking wrong.
No, you said all three. And all three
Anyways,
are not.
I said all three playing at the time. You can play the tape back.
Fine.
Anyways, before I lose my mind over here, I did call one head coach, Greg Brainfarter.
Something like that.
Yeah, it was pretty close to that name. So yeah, I need to take that back because he actually kind of proved his worth a little today.
Now, your takes are so interesting to me, both of you.
Now, I'm curious, Earl. Did that take hold up throughout the second half as well?
No, because we held the lead.
So yes, because we held the lead, is I think what you meant to say.
So yes, he earned his keep today. Or
oh yeah,
no,
sorry, yeah. He kept he held that take and definitely I don't know what I'm fucking saying anymore. I really don't. So fun story about me today. I had sushi for the first time.
Was this a surprise?
What surprise?
You said you had a surprise for us before we went live.
Yeah.
I did?
Yes.
Oh my god, we are off the rails already.
Look, I didn't get much sleep last night. So I'm a little delusional. This is
Humble
also my third non-paid job. Actually my second non-paid job. So yeah, I'm a little.
We're your first non-paid job, damn it.
Yes, sir.
You shut your mouth. Actually, technically, you guys are my first non-paid job. And then the sports broadcasting is kind of volunteer. I get paid once in a while. So yeah, so I'm just a little worn out.
Maybe we should start a Patreon. How about that?
Yeah, so if you guys want to start a GoFundMe to support Earl's,
maybe you should stop dating.
Earl, it's called No-Dos.
Maybe I should just stop.
Everything.
Yeah.
So
Seth, please get us back in.
Yeah, Pulisic nails the goal, takes a knee to the
nether region.
The nether region, yeah.
Or
and he was
Netherlands.
down.
The Netherlands.
Yeah. There you go. He was down for quite a while. Now he did manage to finish out the first half, but they subbed him out, brought on Brendan Aronson. That sub there, I mean, I thought Aronson did well for a while, but just the entire second half, except for the Weah goal, and we'll get to that here in just a second. I won't say we sat back, but Iran seemed to just control the second half.
The Weah goal was in the first half.
That's right. It wasn't the
after,
goal.
It was after Pulisic's goal, but it was still in the first half.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll get to that here in just a second. But what did we do wrong in the second half, and why did our conditioning as New Mexico United supporters get us ready for the end of that match?
We're losing at the last possible fucking minute. That's why.
No, we don't typically lose at the last minute.
Okay, draw. Sorry.
At the last minute.
Sorry, we either draw or we lose somehow at the last possible minute. So yeah, I expected it because it's a young American team. But somehow we didn't.
Yeah, I mean, Jacob, what did Iran do right? I mean, was it more what they were doing right, or was it what we were doing wrong?
Well, we've kind of talked about this when it comes to United. How I always feel like if you're down a goal in like a must-win match or a really close match, that you're, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's, I haven't been able to pinpoint if it's just you playing better, or so in this case, if it's Iran playing better, if it's United, Freudian slip again, if it's USA sitting back more and being okay with that, having the ball, if it's just circumstances seem to dictate that the team that is down a goal that needs a goal is going to have the ball more than a team that has a one goal lead and is trying to see the game out.
Right.
But that's more for like once Berhalter brought on Zimmerman and more to make more of a back five there. That's kind of when we were like, okay, we don't need the ball, whatever. I think the rest of the first half or second half before that point, Iran did move some players up the pitch, and I think they've had to throw a couple more players in the midfield, because that midfield, that MMA midfield with Musa, McKinney, and Adams is, I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
What they can do. It's McKinney's ball in to Dest that gives us the goal. Musa was all over the place. Adams, we talked about last week. And then again this week, he was everywhere. He's been by far our best player of this tournament. And and so when you have those three in the midfield, if for Iran to do anything, they had to kind of overload the midfield to get play pushed forward. And they were able to do that. I thought we had a couple chances to counter a little better, that we didn't necessarily take advantage of, which when you move players from the back into the midfield, that's going to open things up for us, and we just couldn't capitalize on that. Yet again, something United was known for this last season, was not being able to capitalize on that stuff. And then I still think it's a mindset thing, a mentality thing, a tactics thing, whatever you want to call it, where it's like, okay, well, we've got the goal. Let's just, if we get a chance to get the second goal, let's do it. But otherwise, let's just, play solid defense and see it out. And we were able to do that. I mean, they really didn't have any quality chances whatsoever, even though they had possession pretty much the whole second half. They had a couple times where the wind must have picked up and they fell down because of it, and then they screamed for a penalty.
Yeah.
And just desperate to get something. And luckily we played solid. Zimmerman came in there as a late sub to bolster that back line, and he didn't make any mistakes like he did in Wales. Nobody else made any mistakes. We were able to just solidly see it out, which in that kind of situation I'm okay with. You would have loved to have seen that second goal, whether it was the Weah goal that was, just what, half a body offside.
That's what they said. Yeah.
They did finally show the graphic, whatever the hell they are calling that thing that shows the little fake bodies. Yeah. They did finally show that, and he was offside according to that. That, I don't know why they can't just show the lines with the players and that be definitive. I don't know why it has to be.
I mean, the NFL can do it, so
I don't know. It's just weird to me. And so you'd love to see that, obviously, but we were able to make enough stops and enough clearances and enough smart plays in the second half to see it through. And I think at that point, that's all you can really ask. It gives us a heart attack. I mean, it shaved years off of my life for sure, but it is what it is, and we're moving on.
Yeah, one of the things I heard on the broadcast today is that there's actually a chip in the ball, so they can accurately track like the location of the ball, when they're at the same time they're looking at those offside calls, which I find to be very interesting. I'm like, well, if they're doing that, why can't the NFL do that? Why can't college football do that? But that's a whole other conversation. Earl, speaking of that,
because we're not Qatar,
right?
We don't have millions of dollars to bribe people with.
Billions of dollars.
Billions of dollars to bribe people.
Billions of dollars. Yeah. Earl, I mean, looking at this, I mean, do you have any concerns going forward, health wise or tactically, that you think that you would try to change going into Saturday against Netherlands? You're muted. You're still muted. I don't know what you did.
In the meantime, nope.
Did you unplug it?
Professional podcaster and broadcaster Earl Nieto, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. While he's figuring out his technical stuff, I mean,
Seth, what did I got you, Seth?
Yeah.
What did you see in the first half that was working the best? I know we already kind of transitioned to the second half, but you were quiet pretty much on the first half. What was our key strengths there?
I mean, what worked really well was the ball movement. We kept Iran moving defensively. We didn't allow them to just sit there. Even though they sat back and absorbed a ton of pressure, we didn't let them just sit in that 4-4-2 or whatever it was they were playing. We made them move laterally a lot. And you could see what Berhalter was putting in, the crosses, the wide play, really just the wide play. We were pulling Iran out of shape and putting the balls into a dangerous area. Now, were they all great full chances? No. We had a ton of really good looking half chances that I feel like if we had been just a little better, we probably could have put 3 or 4 up against them in that first half. Unfortunately, I don't think we're a club that's gonna put 3 or 4 past a lot of people, at least not at this point. Not until we either A, get a true number 9, or B, really have have everything gelling all at once.
So you mentioned the true number. I still can't hear you, Earl. You mentioned the true number 9. I thought Sargent played a hell of a match personally.
He played well. He did.
I don't think Jedi had a match that was worth noting, like you guys talked about earlier. I thought this was probably his worst match of the 3, but I thought Sargent looked really good. He had a couple of really nice touches in the box and outside of the box. He made plenty of plays. I mean, all in all, that whole team, as far as the starters are concerned, looked really good. Aside from a couple instances from a surprise start from Cameron Carter-Vickers, that he had a couple plays that were like, okay, let's calm down. And then Robinson, his touch just wasn't what it normally is, especially in that second half. He was looked to be an outlet a few times there, and just his touch let him down for whatever reason.
For those of you not watching, Earl just F5 his mic
F5.
off his desk. Yeah, F5 his mic off the desk. So no. Try unplugging it, plugging it back in. Did you power cycle your computer? Earl's still working on. No, we can't hear you.
Try again. Nope, nothing.
No. So,
Earl, do me a favor. Plug it in, and then go to your settings down here at the bottom on your screen, and see what it's saying on the StreamYard. On StreamYard, go to settings and see what it says there, and then see if you can figure it out. In the meantime, what would you? I know it was a tale of two halves, but what would you rate this performance overall?
I'm gonna give it a B plus. I mean, if I had to give it a grade, I'm gonna give them a B plus. I mean,
so is that like a 8?
Yeah, about a 7.5, 8. Somewhere in that neighborhood. I mean, it wasn't perfect by any means. I mean, we did a lot of things well offensively in the first half. We played sound enough defense in the second half. But we didn't convert the few opportunities that we had. I mean, we had a chance there near the end to seal the deal, and we couldn't do it. So I mean, and our set pieces were completely and utterly shambolic. I mean, I saw what you saw what Pulisic wanted to do with the one where he tried to kick it in low off the corner to the top of the box for, I think it was Dest, and you see what he wants to do, but the delivery was all wrong.
So earlier, I don't think we had started yet. I think we were off mic, or offline. I mentioned how Pulisic is an incredible player, but he was still doing things that was pissing me off.
Yeah.
And set pieces were one of them. His deliveries on set pieces this whole tournament have been a 2 out of 10. Like, they just have been absolutely atrocious. His placement in the England match was better, but the timing was off between him and the runners. And then in the first match and this match, I mean, it was just they were just hard to watch. And I'm sure if you did research going into this tournament, set pieces are kind of a big deal in this tournament.
Yeah.
The last World Cup, anyways, more goals came from set pieces than open play.
Oh, there was a goal yesterday that came off of a set piece. I think it was yesterday. It was off the corner, and the goal, the player that scored it was just standing there all alone.
The Ecuador player?
Yeah, it was Ecuador. Yeah, it was just
that was
standing
this
there.
morning. Yeah.
Yeah, was that this morning? Yeah, that was this morning. He was just standing there all alone, all by himself. Like nobody barked him, nothing. Complete and utter breakdown. And yeah, it was just it's extremely important. And you know, I've determined I'm going to set myself on a new career path. I'm going to become a set piece coach and see if I can't get hired with the national team, because they hired a guy to come in and work on set pieces with this club, and it hasn't done shit. That man is robbing the national team blind with whatever it is that he's doing.
Well, is it him or is it Pulisic? And the deliveries?
Both.
Because he might have the world's best set pieces, but if you can't beat the first man on a fucking corner, then the best runs and the best timed this and the best design that aren't doing any good because the first person's heading it out of the way.
Maybe we need to put Zach Prince up for the job.
Yeah, I would agree with you if this was the first half of the season, but then set pieces disappeared for us in the second half. So
can you guys hear me now?
Whoa! Hey, you got it.
I don't know what the fuck just happened.
I think your computer was like,
no, I think Iran and Iran and
that's what I was gonna say.
And Saudi Arabia had said, "Hey, fuck this guy."
No, I think your computer was saving you, is what I think happened. Your computer was like, "Oh no, Iran just tapped us. We need to shut this guy down before he says something stupid."
I mean, Earl, what's your takeaway from this match? Do you think this group is prepared to move on and take on Netherlands?
Netherlands, yes.
Gross. Sorry. Netherlands, yes.
I heard that visibly over here. Like,
yeah. My back hurts now.
I don't know what to fucking say after that.
Netherlands, yes.
So yes, I do believe we could take on Netherlands, but when you start looking at like top quality teams like Brazil or France or Belgium, Germany, Spain, Argentina, teams like those, I don't think that we make it past.
Yeah, we finishing second in the group. We have an interesting side of the bracket. So yeah, if we do somehow get past Netherlands, and we'll obviously talk about them again later in the week, but this is a tough side of the bracket to be on. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think
I'm not going to say it's a tough side of the bracket to be on because I don't know who the bottom half of our bracket is going to have some quality of it. I mean, it's all quality. It's the final 18 or final 16 of a World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
But Poland, Saudi Arabia, or Argentina can be finish first in their group, which is the side of the bracket that we're on. So we're going to either have one of those three or Australia, Poland, or Australia, Denmark, probably not France. France has probably got the one seed locked up, but it's probably going to be Australia, Denmark, or Tunisia, or Argentina.
Point.
Yeah. Argentina. Argentina, Saudi Arabia, or Poland on. So I mean, we still have 6 choices that it could be that we play, and other than Argentina, none of them like super scare me. Not, I mean,
technically Mexico could. Could you imagine?
Can Mexico finish first?
Mathematically, yes. They would have to win by 4 goals. Poland loses. Yeah.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah. Let me see what those matches are for Group C real quick, and we'll talk about this here in just a little bit. Anyway. So yeah, Mexico would have to beat Saudi Arabia. by 4 goals. Well, I don't know. I think it's mathematically possible. No, because if Poland loses, that means Argentina goes top. If Poland wins, a draw. Yeah, so Mexico can't get one.
Yeah.
That's too bad.
So I thought I had just 6 clubs earlier when I was looking at it, but so that the first 2 matches I'm not like freaking out about yet. Of course, if Argentina ends up winning that group and seem to find their groove, which I honestly think they played better in the Saudi Arabia match than they did their last match. So I'm still not sold on Argentina, even though they got a win. I mean, anything could happen in those 2 matches. We got to get past the Netherlands first. Don't get me wrong. That's going to be a tough test, but I think it is doable.
Yeah, and I mean, let's move right on. The other club, the other nation coming out of Group B, obviously England. England just dominated Wales today by a final
in the second half.
In the second half, yeah. I mean, they played really well in the first half. I mean, I didn't see Wales really have any like quality opportunities come out of that, and so I mean, it was just a complete game from England. They probably could have put a couple more in there. And so, I mean, this was no surprise here. It was going to be either us or England coming out of this group in the top spot, and England just romped through the group stage. I mean, other than the draw against us, which says more about how we played than England. So, England gets Senegal. I mean, any takeaways from the England match today, other than the fact that they've got a lot of scoring threats?
England is such a weird team to me. So, I mean, obviously, Harry Kane plays for Tottenham. I love Harry Kane. And you get him surrounded by Sterling and Foden and so. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on and on. And so any given day, they could come out and they could drop 6 on you like they did against Iran. And I don't think necessarily that the United States match was. I don't think they were really hyped up for that match. Like I think they were just like, let's get a draw here, let's take it to Wales, still win the group, we'll be fine. But I don't know what's going to happen in the knockout round. Like they could lose in the round of 16, they could make it to the final and possibly win the thing.
Yeah,
I could see any result for them. And I didn't watch the match today. I just watched the highlights, and so I'm not even. Not even really going to comment on the match.
Earl, did you watch this one?
This whole having them at the same time threw me off.
Yeah, it is kind of weird, but and I get it. That way no one's like had the matches occurred differently. Change the tactics. Only pay for a certain result. I mean, obviously, I'm sure both sides probably got an update at halftime as far as where things are at. But yeah. So Earl, you didn't watch this one?
Not a chance.
No. Okay. I mean,
so as you can tell, I'm wearing a USA shirt.
Yeah.
So with USA playing at the same time as England, England, fuck you, 1776.
Okay. Now Earl's firing shots at England. So
I'm not afraid of England,
Queen Lizzie.
I'm not afraid of England though.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Really, England played well. Rashford picked up a brace. He is now joint top of the Golden Boot race for the World Cup. So, I mean, yeah, England looked good. No surprise there.
Is there 4 tied there at the top?
There are 4 currently. However, Inter Valencia and Ecuador were eliminated today. So Inter Valencia can no longer move up the standings. Sitting atop of the Golden Boot race currently, Inter Valencia, Mbappe.
Wait. I was going to see if I can name him, but
okay.
I don't know the Netherlands guy's name. But it's a guy from the Netherlands. It's Sterling, it's Mbappe, and it's Inter.
There's no Sterling in there.
Not Sterling. Sorry, Rashford.
Yeah, Rashford. Cody Gakpo.
Gakpo, yeah,
from Netherlands. He is the 4th. He's the 4th player there at the top. So there's about 10 or so guys sitting on 2 goals. So, and we still have matches to go in both in
group and knockout.
And group, yeah. So moving on over to Group A, 2 results today there. You have Netherlands and Senegal moving on. Jacob, you and I talked about this the other day about Senegal, and I mean, Senegal again, they came out and they played really well today.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I would of the clubs here, I would rather see Netherlands than Senegal because I don't know that we could handle the Senegal pace.
It's a different kind of challenge. I don't know if it's necessarily harder or something we couldn't handle if we were preparing for it. But no, I think at this stage, any team that you play is going to be tough. So, I'm a little happier that it's the Netherlands than Senegal, mainly because I like Senegal and I have no feelings for this Netherlands team whatsoever. And I'm rooting kind of for Senegal. Oh, and had it been Ecuador, it'd been the same thing. This Ecuador team was a lot of fun. I'm kind of sad that they're out.
Yeah. I mean, both clubs, they had some surprises. They looked really well at times. Senegal just I would not have picked Senegal at the beginning of this to come out, but
I did.
Yeah,
that's the only group that I got right.
There you
so
go.
far.
But I mean, yeah, they were fun to watch. Netherlands came on strong as the group stage ended. Earl, did you watch either of the early games?
Earl's reading a children's book right now.
Earl's too cool for me.
Yeah.
Okay, then.
Thanks for saying it. Thanks for saying it, by the way.
You're welcome. So, I mean, Earl paid no attention to either of these. So, I mean, I have both on different screens. I was keeping an eye on both. And, yeah, Senegal just looked a lot of fun. They looked like they had a lot of fun. There was one moment I said, "Oh, Senegal just fucked themselves on a set piece," and then 2 minutes later, Ecuador did the same thing. Or I may have it mixed up there.
I don't know if Ecuador fucked themselves. I mean, it was a unlucky bounce, more so than just leaving a guy wide open like Senegal did. But either way, yeah, it was 2 back-to-back goals there where Ecuador gets the tying goal to put them through.
Yeah.
And then Senegal comes back 3 minutes later and off yet another set piece, is able to find the back of the net for a winning goal and a goal that pushes them through to the knockout round.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch. You love seeing the guys play there. And Senegal will be without Idrissa Gana Gueye, former and current Everton man.
Bless you. Sorry.
Yellow card accumulation. 2 yellow cards. He's now out for the next match, which is silly if you ask me.
I didn't know it. I didn't think it carried over to knockout, but I guess it does.
Yeah, they said he's out for the next match. So
yeah, but you're saying they as in the Fox announcers, right?
Yeah, it was announced on Fox that he would.
Yeah,
be
sorry for not trusting the Fox announcer.
No, I'm with you. I'm right with you on that. So yeah, Senegal will be without Idrissa Gana Gueye against England. Not necessarily a goal scoring threat, but he is a guy who's very good in the midfield, very good defensively. And that's one of the guys that the Senegal could have used against England. The other match over there, Netherlands 2-0 over Qatar today. I don't think this surprised anybody with that result there. So Netherlands gets the top seed coming out of Group A, obviously taking on the U.S., and England will get Senegal. I mean, you said you called this group right, Jacob. I mean, what impressed you most about these 2 clubs coming out of A?
To be honest, the Netherlands didn't impress me at all.
Okay.
They won the group, but I mean, they don't play good soccer or exciting soccer or anything like that. It's just kind of like we're just gonna get by. They took it to Qatar today. They squeaked by Ecuador. No, sorry, they squeaked by Senegal on 2 late goals late in the second half. I mean, late in the second half. And they drew with Ecuador in a very entertaining match in the second match of the group. And so the Qatar game, I didn't watch the Qatar game, but it's Qatar. Nothing you could have done would impress me unless it was like 12.
Yeah,
maybe if you put 12 on them, I'd be impressed. But so they just didn't move the needle for me whatsoever. Senegal, on the other hand, and Ecuador, if I'm being honest, both came out Ecuador looked really good.
Yes,
damn
Earl
it,
just
Earl.
texted us.
Ecuador looked really good in their first match against Qatar, which I think at that point we were all expecting Qatar to be a little bit better at least. But then they come back, they get scored on against the Netherlands. They get one back, they earn that draw, set themselves up nicely for this last match. And they didn't do anything today that they didn't lose it today to me. It wasn't like they came out and just laid an egg. They played solid soccer. Senegal just outplayed them, which leads me to Senegal coming in and just really kind of knowing what they needed to do and went out and executed and was able to. I mean, they had that first lead for quite a while. They had bad set piece defense, which is gonna happen sometimes. I've never seen it quite that bad, but I thought for sure he was offside too, until I saw the guy in the goal, and I was like, "Oh no,
Yeah.
wow, that was terrible." And so Senegal really did kind of impress me coming out, especially losing Sadio Mane right before the tournament, who you thought was going to be like their star player. So he is out, and you still are able to fight and claw and find a way into the knockout rounds, where now you get the gift of this Jekyll and Hyde England team. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go in and beat England.
Yeah, a lot of the things to look forward to from groups A and B on Saturday and Sunday with those two matches there. Moving in tomorrow, we have 4 more matches tomorrow. Group D gets us started off at 8 a.m. Mountain Time. You have Tunisia and France and Australia versus Denmark. Earl, which of these 2 matches are you keeping an eye on?
Tunisia and France.
Okay, tell me why.
Well, because it's France, and like I told you before, I want to see how France reacts to playing lower level teams that can pressure the crap out of you.
Yeah, I completely get that. I mean, Tunisia sitting on 1 point. France is obviously already through to the knockout stages, sitting on 6 points. Tunisia really hasn't done a whole lot in the World Cup. So Tunisia and France should be interesting. This should be a pretty simple in terms of France get a point, you secure that number 1 spot coming out. I mean, they pretty much have it already, unless Australia wins by like 6 goals. But is there any one player that you think is going to stand out for France tomorrow?
Who are you asking me?
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what lineup happens, because obviously France already been through. Does France actually play all the starters? I think they play or the stars will play maybe first half. So first half, I would love to see Mbappe, and see how he shines against Tunisia of all teams. Second half, I couldn't even tell you.
All right, Jacob, are you watching either of these 2 matches? Obviously, the big story is who's going to get that number 2 spot. Tunisia, Australia, and Denmark all are all mathematically capable of still doing it, physically capable of it. Tunisia is more than likely not going to be able to do anything against France. So do either of these 2 stand out? Are you with Earl watching the Tunisia-France?
No, as usual, I disagree with Earl.
Yeah, he usually does.
The Tunisia-France game is probably going to be the most boring game to watch of the day tomorrow, because it has the only team that's qualified for the knockout already. And unless Australia wins, like you said, by several goals, they're the 1 seed coming out of that group no matter what. So they're either going to come out, put up 5 in the first half, and play anybody and they'll play the ball boys and some Qatarians from the stands for that second half, so nobody gets hurt. The other one, on the other hand, Australia.
So you
Denmark,
mean to tell me that my plane ticket to Qatar is actually still valid?
No, actually.
Well, I might be playing tomorrow for France.
Oh, okay, then cool. Good luck.
Well, have fun with that flight, Earl.
Yeah. You probably should be getting on it.
2 hours
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah, a few hours ago.
Like yesterday.
I think you're
Yeah.
late. Yeah. The other match, on the other hand, Australia Denmark. It's a Denmark team that I thought, and several other people thought would be coming out of this group. This group seemed one of the more top-heavy groups of the groups, with France and Denmark, and then kind of a clear line between them and Tunisia and Australia. But Denmark needs a win, and probably some help, because I believe
They just need to win.
that's all they need.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if Tunisia and them, because they're both sitting on one. If I'm
Yeah, well, I mean,
not mistaken.
if Tunisia somehow beats France, then then we can talk
And
about
we got tiebreakers and stuff. So
yeah.
so Denmark pretty much just needs a win, unless Tunisia pulls something out of their ass, and then we'll see. But if they can just get that win and get through, then I think we'll. That's what I'm looking for. I need Denmark to show up finally for this tournament. They're kind of in the same boat as Australia or as USA. They were probably favored to get out of the group. Have looked so far, and need a win on the last day to do it. And so I'm looking to see if they'll pull that off, or if they kind of fold and Australia can somehow get a result.
Yeah, this is the one I'll be watching as well. I mean, Australia obviously picked up the win against Tunisia and lost to France in that one, as we all know. So yeah, I mean, this is the most interesting of the two matchups. If Denmark comes out and they can put something together offensively, then I think they have a good shot at beating Australia. But I've been impressed with Australia. This is the first time I've ever really had a chance to sit down and watch them, particularly in this cycle. And so I have to lean towards Australia as being the favorites in this match, just from what I've seen. But I think it'll be a great shout for them if they come out of that group. All right, and looking at Group C, these are the noon Mountain Time matches tomorrow. You've got Poland, Argentina, and Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and Mexico. Earl, we'll go to you again. Which one of these are you going to keep your eye on?
Careful, Earl. Careful.
Now, keep in mind, all of these clubs are still mathematically in this.
So let's see. I either have the chance of, what was the first
Careful.
Poland, Argentina, or Saudi Arabia, Mexico.
Okay. So I have the chance to watch Old Man Messi
Mm-hmm.
and Poland.
That's future MLS star Lionel Messi. Thank you very much.
With your mouth. Or I get a chance to watch the Cartel versus the Nuclear Warheads.
The Cartel is Colombia. Everybody knows this.
I'm fairly certain there's a cartel in Mexico as well.
I'm just trying not to get us killed, Earl.
Yeah. So yeah, Earl, you are correct. On one hand, you have Old Man Messi versus Old Man Lewandowski, or you've got the regime versus our friends south of the border.
I'd much rather watch the AARP show.
All right. Looking at this, I mean, has Argentina shown you enough to think that they're your favorite to win tomorrow, or do you think Poland can pull this out?
Argentina's a weird team. I mean, obviously they lost to the regime and to the women's rights violators. So I don't know. I'd much like no, they haven't showed me much.
All right.
I lost my train of thought. It's been a day.
No worries. Jacob, are either of these matches catch your eye?
Oh yeah, they both do. The winner of this group is, I'm assuming, going to be the favorite as to who we would face if we beat the Netherlands. And then this group's kind of been crazy. I mean, it's been crazy since its start. The first match of this group stage for this group was Saudi Arabia beating Argentina 2-0. Or 2-1, sorry. So yeah, I mean, it's a weird, quirky group. Mexico's looked probably the worst out of the CONCACAF teams, and that's saying a lot when you have a 7-0 beatdown of Costa Rica in there.
And Canada sitting on 0 points.
Yeah, Canada's looked good for the most part, but no, Mexico hasn't looked great. But yet they can still. I mean, if you'd have told me going into the last match they've got Saudi Arabia, and they need to beat Saudi Arabia and have Argentina beat Poland in order to advance. I'm sitting here going, yeah, that's reasonable. But the way we got here just isn't quite right. So, I could see any four of these teams, or at least three of these teams, other than Mexico, getting out of the group and possibly winning the group. So, I'm going to be trying to keep an eye on both of them. If I had to pick one, it's probably Saudi Arabia, Mexico, just because this Saudi Arabia team is just kind of strange, and this Mexico team, we know it fairly well coming from CONCACAF, and it doesn't have the star power of Messi versus Lewandowski, but it's still going to be an interesting game, I think.
Yeah, Mexico would need to win by at least 3, and Argentina would have to beat Poland in order for Mexico to get in. So, yeah, I don't see that happening. I don't think Mexico is good enough at this point. I mean, obviously, if Poland, Argentina, or Saudi Arabia win, those clubs are in. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be watching both of them.
So sorry, they can get in. All they need is a win and a Poland win, actually, and they can get in.
Oh yeah, that is correct.
And then with a win and an Argentina
they would
win,
still have to win by.
No, if they win and Poland wins, they're through.
Oh yeah, you're right. I apologize.
If Argentina wins and Mexico wins, that's when goal differential comes into play, because Argentina and Mexico are not Argentina and Mexico, but Poland and Mexico would then be on 4 points.
Yes.
So they would need tiebreakers there. But
yeah,
if Mexico beats Poland, or if Mexico beats Saudi Arabia, Poland beats Argentina, then Mexico's the only team on 4 points.
Yeah.
And
I'm trying to do math in my head as I go. Yeah, obviously I'm going to keep an eye on both of these. I think this is a last hurrah either for Messi or Lewandowski. No matter who comes out of this is, whichever one loses, I'm fairly certain they're both going to call it quits in terms of, or at least they won't be around for the next World Cup cycle. So, it'll be interesting to see if either of them can do anything and what may be their final World Cup appearance. I don't think Mexico is good enough to beat Saudi Arabia, at least not with the way they've been playing here in the World Cup. And this is kind of more of a personal question because of Tata's history with Atlanta United. Does El Tri fire Tata if they lose here?
I'm surprised they didn't fire him after the last game.
Fair enough. Earl, do you think Tata lives on after this, or do you think El Tri leadership let him go?
I guarantee you this thought passed Earl's head. Sorry, Earl. I guarantee you when you said Tata, he said save the Tatas in his head. Almost guarantee it.
Actually, it didn't. Probably because I'm too tired to even.
Now it did though.
No, it didn't. Still, fucking hate you. I swear to God. Okay, now it did. So here's my thoughts on Tata Martino. He lost twice to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
and then fails to make the knockout round. So possibly fails. So if he fails tomorrow, fails to make knockout round for World Cup. Yeah, I think he's gone.
All right, fair enough. I mean, how big of a letdown is this for Mexico if they don't make it out of knockouts? I mean, obviously they qualified, they did well enough in CONCACAF qualifying, but how big of a deal is it if they don't make the knockouts?
Are you saying to like the diehard Mexico fan, it's probably a big deal because they want their team to do well? From an outsider looking in, even when they have their best teams, they don't really perform at the World Cup. They make the knockout round, but they've never really advanced, I think, past the quarterfinals, if I'm not mistaken. And so with the way this team has performed, with losing to the United States and Gold Cup and in CONCACAF Nations League and the World Cup qualifiers and And then coming into this tournament, I don't know what they expected. I don't know what they should have expected. Because to me, they probably expected more, but I wasn't expecting much from them at all. And you look at this group, obviously we kind of all thought Saudi Arabia was going to be a walk in the park, but I think Poland and Argentina were neck and neck, or Argentina was the favorite, and then Poland was right there with Mexico on getting out of the group. And so it to me, it shouldn't be that big of a deal that you're not getting out of the group, because you're kind of in this weird transition period anyways, as far as your roster is concerned, as far as Tata's concerned. You don't have the goods this year, and you knew that probably 2 years ago coming into it, or should have at least.
Yeah, I asked because this is their 8th consecutive appearance at the World Cup, and in each of the prior 7, they did make it to the round of 16. They have made it to the quarterfinals twice in their history, so that is their best showing ever back in 1986 and 1970. So, yeah, I just have to think it has to be a bit of a letdown, for a club that dominated CONCACAF for as long as they have, to suddenly be in this weird, like, I mean, you said transition, and that's exactly what it is. I mean, they're just missing out on all this talent. They're missing out on the results. They're missing out on the things that they've gotten so used to, that I think it's just a very weird spot for them to be in. All right. So I think that's pretty much it. Do you guys have any closing thoughts on groups A and B? No. All right.
I'm sorry. I do. I just was laughing at Earl's face.
Okay.
We can, kind of like United, we can sit here and nitpick US's performance in these 3 games. But at the end of the day, they did enough. And especially the performance today, Pulisic getting injured, going for the goal, Zimmerman coming on and making several important clearances with his head. Tim Ream has probably been like the story of this tournament, as far as getting the starting nod in that back pairing with Zimmerman the first 2 matches, and just not putting a foot wrong the whole tournament, basically. And then Tyler Adams just being all over the place. They really, really impressed me with their grit, not necessarily their tactics necessarily, but they just found a way. They got through, and I'm proud of them. I'm proud that Earl can wear those colors proudly today, and I'm really looking forward to Saturday, which I was just looking at the schedule that we have made for our podcasts, and it says the 4th we're supposed to podcast to cover the 2 quarterfinal matchup, or all the quarterfinal matchups.
Yeah.
We'll probably be here, especially if United win, or if United States win. I will be hopping on Thursday or Saturday on the 3rd. Even if I've got to figure out how to go live myself again, I will do it, because I'll be too excited to wait till Sunday to talk about that USA game. But I'm excited for it. Excited that we're playing Netherlands. It's going to be a good test, and hopefully we can figure that out, and hopefully England loses, because as Earl said earlier, 1776 fuck you or something like that. I don't know what he said. Earl says some weird stuff. So that's all I got. I just want to give kudos to USA one more time, since we hadn't talked about them in a little bit, and I mentioned that I'm excited for Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely fair thoughts. Like, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. Can the U.S. national team keep up what they've been doing offensively and defensively, put it all together for a full 90 minutes? And anything can happen on Saturday morning. Again, Saturday morning, 8 a.m. by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, Earl, what you got? Nothing. Okay.
Earl, as I close this out, I need you to start a USA chant, okay?
Huh?
Never mind.
I believe that we will win.
No, not that one. Damn damn it, just USA. Until tomorrow, I believe it's Seth tomorrow. I might be in Albuquerque, so I probably won't be hopping on, but Seth will be bringing you tomorrow's action, recap of it, and then previewing Thursday's slate. And guys, we're almost to the end of the knockouts. It's kind of bittersweet. I've loved it, but man, is there a shitload of soccer, and it'll be nice to focus on one game at a time and have just a couple matches to really focus on as we get to the knockout rounds. So until tomorrow for Seth and 2 days from now for me, and who knows when for Earl. Somos Unidos.